Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy calendar launch day. It's one of the best days of the month. I'll just give everyone just a minute or two just to roll in here. You might hear Cooper in the background. He's meowing in the kitchen. I had a talk with him before I went live and told him that he needed to be quiet, but he's not listening. So we're hoping he's just going to go away and find some place to have a nap. But yes, good morning, good morning. It's Friday. It is a sunny day, and I looked at the long-range forecast for next week, and it is looking really good. There's several sunny days, and temperatures get up into the teens. So goodbye snow and hello spring. Oh, Mary's in the Starbucks parking lot. Well, that's not a bad place to be either. I'm not a Starbucks lover. I don't really like coffee, so, but you know, I know coffee lovers love it. So we're going to get going. We've got a lot to cover today. It's time to launch our February calendar page bundle. So Shelby's got the category all set up, and many of the add-ons are in there. The bundles are not there yet, and something else, I forget. But they will go up as soon as this live is done. That's really just so I can have your full attention while I while I talk. So we're going to actually set this aside, and I'm going to bring on the January page as a recap. This is our first page of 2025. So this is the calendar part of the layout. Now, we only have a handful of these left. So if you have not snagged the bundles for January yet, you'll want to do that. We don't leave them kicking around. So it's kind of like you got to get them while they're there, and then they disappear. So and there's the layout portion of that month as well. It was fun. We are almost completely sold out. So make sure you grab that January bundle if you are interested, because it's not going to be there for much longer. Now, I am also going to just take a minute to let you all know that the 2023 and 2024 calendar series videos are all uploaded over on our YouTube channel. So moving forward, there will be no more QR codes on your bags, and all the QR codes that you have on the bags that you've received so far will work until May 22nd. May 22nd is the date that we've been given that all of our archived Facebook Live videos are going to disappear. I know it's shocking, but I managed to get all of the 2023 and 2024 calendar series videos over on our YouTube channel, and I've set up playlists for 2023 and 2024. So you don't have to scroll through the videos to find them. Right now, they're all lumped together, but as we continue to build content, there will be a playlist that you just click on our playlist tab, and then there'll be a playlist for 2023 and 2024, and I've already started one for 2025. So the January page video is already over there as well. We've been very busy, very busy. And now we are starting to capture other content that we have that we feel is relevant, and we will be moving that over. And then, of course, we will be adding new content moving forward. So any videos that we post on Facebook as a live from February 19th forward will automatically expire after 30 days. So this video will live on our Facebook page as it always has before until the 30 days is up, and then it just disappears. But we have moved that over to our YouTube channel, and it will stay there, and it's on that playlist, and it's in the mix, and it's all great. So you don't have to stress about calendar at all. We are looking after all of that. So, that's the elephant in the room, and that's been addressed. So, we are excited about our YouTube channel. I've got a lot of things going on in the background. I've got some big decisions to make as far as recording equipment and setup that I want to do. But it's not something that I can just decide on overnight. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to consider. And I want to make sure that we are getting all the right things and doing it all the correct way. So you're going to have to be patient with me. In the meantime, nothing is going to change. We are going to continue to broadcast on our Facebook page, and then any relevant content from those broadcasts will be transferred over to YouTube and put there. So you don't have to worry about missing out on anything. It's just a little bit more work on our part right now, but we're willing to put in the work until we get this sorted out the way that we want it. So that's it. Okay, we're moving forward. So you're getting a peek at the bundle and a little peek at the layout right here. Let's turn that over. So this is the bundle for February 2025. And it's a fun one. I had a lot of fun making this one. Bright, sort of, not bright, pastel rainbow colors, which anything rainbow is my favorite. And of course it is all on a white background, which makes everything pop. So you've got white cardstock, this beautiful striped paper. You've got a couple of half sheets of pattern paper in your bundle. You have a full pack of the Floral Bits Heartstrings from Simple Stories. You have a custom title. And then you will have a color photo of the layout as well for reference. No more QR codes though, so you won't be getting those on your bags. And like I said before, if you're just tuning in now, the QR codes that you have on the bags that you've received so far are going to expire on May 22nd. But don't stress. Everything is over on our YouTube channel and very easy to locate. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to email us. We're happy to explain and help you navigate that. So I'll set the bundle aside and then I'll pull on the real layout so that you can see what we have created here. So I just got to wait for my iPad to catch up and make sure I've got this centered on here. Oh, I've zoomed in just a touch too much. Okay, well, I'll just zoom out just a little bit. Okay, let's see if I can figure this out. So zoom in is this way. Let's try this. Oh, look at me go. Okay. There, now we can see the whole page. Isn't it pretty? Shelby says, you sent out an email with great tips for YouTube. Oh, good. Yes. So I did send out an email and I did post it yesterday on our socials too, about just little tips about YouTube that you might not know, because there's a lot more flexibility on YouTube for the viewers. Well, for us too, but for the viewers and how you want to see things and how you want to organize things, it's pretty awesome. So you can have a lot of fun with it. And we're happy to help with that too. So if you have any questions about that, we will share what we know for sure. So this is my February page. It is so much fun to make. My gosh, guys. And we're going to use some new products too. Some things that had been on my desk. And it was funny. I was doing a live and I was showing this product as a new product in our store. And somebody said, you should totally use that on the calendar for February. And I'm like, are you in my brain? Because that is exactly what I was already thinking. And this was sort of already in the works. So whoever that was, I don't remember. They kind of nailed it. So anyway, so again, the layout is here. I'll just set this part aside for now. So I'll hold this up just a little bit so you can kind of see some of the details. And of course, we'll go into more detail as we go through the video. I've got lots of demos to share today. So I hope you brought your notebook and have a nice drink with you and a cozy chair, because I'm not going to rush through this, because you can always go back and watch this at your leisure and, you know, press pause and make more notes and so on. So I want to make sure, because I know a lot of people will be watching this over and over again, especially when they're ready to create their page. And I want to make sure I give you all the details and demos to do all the things. And then this part is our calendar part. And we call this a calendar series because it actually replaced our calendar kits that we used to do. That was several years ago. We discontinued those, and I really wanted to have something to replace it. But I needed more flexibility, more room to be creative. And so we came up with this concept, and I am loving it because it allows me to bring in all kinds of new products, and it allows you as the crafter to choose which path you want to go down. And I think that being flexible in your crafting journey is really important. And, You know, some of you like all of the things and you get the add-ons and all the bonus stuff, and others, you know, you just kind of crash your stash and do your thing, and that's totally your choice. So I'm going to just show you how I did the page, and then you can pick and choose what you want to do from there. So the calendar side is optional. Some people like to make a calendar as a gift. So we sell blank calendars, and I know our inventory is low. We've got to get some more. But on the bottom, it's a blank calendar. On the top, it's a blank page. So this would go on the top of the calendar each month. And then by the time the year's over, you have an entire calendar that you can use to gift to somebody, or you can use for yourself and hang on your wall and enjoy your artwork throughout the year. The other option, which is the option I choose, is that these go into an album. And I do like this as sort of, this is the only scrapbooking that I get done now. I don't get the in-between type of scrapbooking done. So between the beginning of January and the beginning of February, there are no other pages in my album. It's just this straight through. And I'm okay with that because this is the highlights of my month. And on this side, I usually pick one particular thing. And this is sort of snippets from the whole month. So that's kind of how I approach it. And I love that I have 2 completed albums for the last 2 years that we've done this program. 2 full albums. I never have had that the whole entire time I've scrapbooked. So it's amazing. It's such a fulfilling experience for me, and I wanted to share that with everyone else. And I know that a lot of people have really enjoyed this series, and I'm thrilled about that. So that's where this comes in. So I'm going to walk through the bundle contents. I'm going to run through the add-ons. And then I will give you tips and tricks, and I'll demo a few things just to show you how I did it and how things were used. So you got a quick peek at the actual bundle, but I'll pull that back over here. And so you've got your full sheet of white cardstock, which is really the part that you see on your main page. You have a full sheet of this striped paper. And that ends up getting tucked in behind, and only the stripe is going to show down the 2 sides. So a lot of the stripe you don't use, but it is really cool to have it running down the sides. You could, if you wanted to, just cut off 2 strips from the striped paper and just attach it to the 2 sides of the paper when you cut this down a bit. But I just used the full sheet. I didn't use any of the other parts of the striped paper, so it didn't matter to me. I just did that. But I'll explain that a little bit more when we get there. So you get those 2. And then these 2 pattern papers here are going to be used to cut out all of these frames that you see on the layout. So that, again, we'll get into more detail when we get to that part, but that's where that pattern paper is used, is to cut out all these frames. And then, of course, you have your pack of ephemera, and this is loaded up with florals, hearts, and what else is in here? Hearts, flowers, and then, oh, these large hearts here that we use on our page as well. So you will have extra ephemera. I will go through that as well. And then there is a custom die cut in here. It's the word cherish, and that I used as part of my title over here. Now you will notice that there is a dot on the I. My dot is actually put on here in marker, because when I cut out this title, the dot is so tiny. And now I'm going to show you this bag. So some of the bags will have the dot and some will not, but 90% of you are going to lose it. I'm sure of it. I would actually almost bet money on it. But you can see the dot. It's right here. It's the tiniest little speck. And a lot of you are going to think it's just an extra piece of cardstock that's in the bag, and you're going to just throw it out. And that's okay. So some of your bags will have it, some of them won't. And don't stress about that. I literally took, I have this pen. It's called Le Pen. It sounds very fancy, right? It's my favorite black pen right now. And I literally just dabbed the felt tip right there, and that's how I got the dot. Because it is so tiny, and it's super easy to do. So do not worry if there is no dot. I want you to be happy with your die cut, but seriously, this dot is so tiny, it's ridiculous. So anyways, you do get this custom die cut in the bundle as well. And then, of course, your color photo that is a great reference point. But you also have this video that you can come back to over and over and over again to watch it and rewatch it. You can pause it. You can take screenshots from it, whatever you need to do to get your page put together. So that is the bundle. And then there are add-ons. So the background on here, on the white sheet of paper, we create ourselves. And that is done using a stencil from MFT. I've had this in my stash for quite a while. And I've had it in the add-on stash for this calendar series for quite a while as well. And I was just waiting for the perfect opportunity to use it. And this was the kit. So this is such a great stencil. You know what? Oh, I should have pulled it out. Let me see. So, I mean, we often equate stencils to card making, but there are lots of things you can do. And I made a card using this. I should have pulled it out ahead of time. Let me just see if I can quickly find it. Because the uses go beyond this page for sure. And I mean, it's always great when you have, I'm not going to be able to find it. It's always great when you have multiple uses for things. Oh, I wonder if it's in here. When I know I have something I want to show you, and I don't know where I put it. Problem is I don't know what theme the card is, so I don't even know which section to look in. And I don't want to keep you waiting. So I'm going to give up, but I do have a card, and if I find it, maybe I'll post it over on our inspiration group. But anyways, you will notice with the stencil, though, it's only like this wide. And this is wider than that. So I'm going to show you a technique on how you can extend the length of this, which is really great because you could create a whole background with it, like go right across your page. And it's great for cards, and these all can overlap and create different colors and all kinds of fun things. So we will do a demo with the stencil as we get further into the video, but that's what I used for this background piece there. And then the inks that I used. So I used my favorite pastel rainbow palette. If you watched our live yesterday, I talked about the swatches, and well, I threw it in the garbage, but I had a little swatch that I had made right here. But I went ahead last night because I had extra pieces cut out for my live yesterday, and I swatched out my pastel rainbow blend. And if I place this on this layout here, you can see how great this is and how well it transfers over to what is shown here. So these swatches are so valuable, and they can be really helpful in your craft room. But this is the blend that I used for making this rainbow, except for there's no purple on this one. So the colors are all from Tailored Expressions, and I believe they are all in stock, and I ordered extras of all of them. So if you want to get this blend, I use this blend a lot when I make cards too. So you will see this pop up quite often. But it is Tailored Expressions Saltwater Taffy. We've got the Mint Julep, which is like the green. We've got the Potato Chip, which is the yellow. We've got Cupcake, which is the pink. And we've got Peaches and Cream, which is the sort of peachy color. Now, can you use other ink brands? 100%. So if you've got other colors you want to use, the only thing is, a lot of people will say, well, do you think these colors will work? I don't know, because I didn't use them. So you can make your own swatches and try to figure it out on your own, or you can jump on board and collect these ink colors for a beautiful pastel blend, which you will, again, see me use over and over and over again when I do my crafting. So that is the ink colors that we used. I did use two types of blending brushes for this technique. One is like a regular, like bristle type of blending brush. I choose to use the Altenew small set, but then I also brought in the Petite Pouncers. If you have the large ones, you can use the large ones too. You might have to mask off your stencil a little bit, but the reason I used the Pouncers in addition to this is because I want different shading with the strips when I use it. And I can get a much deeper blend with the pouncers, and that is my first layer that I put down, and then I go in with my blending brushes and I apply the next 2 layers. So I will demonstrate that process for you, but I do use 2 different styles of blending brushes. So those are an add-on if you want. And then something to splatter, because we're going to be splattering our ink colors, and we're going to be splattering black. So I use the Winsor & Newton black ink for splattering. And then this is the Yasutomo brush set, and this is brush number 2. I want a fine splatter, so I'm gonna try this one today. They do have thicker brushes as well in that set, so nice big ones. So if you're doing like watercoloring techniques and things on your background, these are great. So it's a nice variety of sizes of brushes, but I'm going to use the number 2 brush today when I splatter. So that's what I use for that. And then I recommend a glass surface or some kind of slick surface that you can use for your ink cubes and your black ink. So when we do the splattering, you'll need something for that. And then the frames, that is a die. It's actually 2 sets of dies that I have used. It's the feature frames from Tailored Expressions. So this is the original release. So it has 4 frames in it. Now the fancy frames are new, and we just added those into our library, but unfortunately they are on back order. So I was not able to get any extras of these in. Only this size is available. In my opinion, I think most of you are just going to pick one style of frames and go with that. But just so you know, I used both sets of frames on here. So if you, let's say, just purchase this one, you may see a frame on here that isn't in your package. So that is the difference with those. We will eventually get some of the fancy feature frames in as soon as they become available to order. But right now, we only have the feature frames. We may have 1 or 2 sets of these kicking around in that section, but they aren't going to last very long. So these are fabulous. Now, again, when I get to the frame part, I will talk a little bit more in depth, but this is the die that I used for the frames. Can you hear my cat? He's something else. And then we have the Henry's Build a Sentiment, the Love. Oh, someone snagged the last one this morning. Okay. So this is the Love version of Henry's Build a Sentiment. If you don't own these, oh my gosh, they are the best. They have several different themes, and all of these words will mix and match with all of the sets, and you can build your own sentiments. Now, that's not exactly what I'm doing with it this time. I did add some stamping on my large hearts, and the stamp came from here. But we've demoed these a lot in the past, and they're just so amazing. I do have a printout somewhere. What did I do with that? Huh. I did have it really handy. Oh, there it is. So this is an example of some of the things that you can do with just this set. So with the words that are on here, you can do, it's a love-related set. It came out with their Valentine's release. But happy Valentine's Day, happy Heart Day, happy Galentine's Day. Will you be my Valentine? Will you be mine? I love you oh so much, and so on and so on and so on. So, and things like we belong together. We just go together. We make a perfect pair. Sending hugs to my BFF. Sending hugs and kisses. Sending love. You are perfect for me. So there's lots of ways that you can mix and match these words to make up your own sentiments. And I think Shelby pointed out, the font is fabulous. So I have used it. I've added it to the hearts here. But again, that's optional. You might have other stamps in your stash that you want to use instead. I did recommend some Nina 110-pound cardstock. This is just my bin of paper here. So that is used because I stack these sentiments, and also I layer up the frames. So after I cut out the frame, I actually stack it with 2 layers of Nina 110 to give it some dimension. So to me, that is really important when I'm working with die cuts. But if you don't have any of this in your stash, you may want to pick up some. We sell it in a 10-pack, and you'll use it for all kinds of things. So that's a good option as well. Black and white twine. You can buy it by the yard. I think 2 yards is the minimum, which would be plenty. I did use this to tie around a couple of spots on the frames. So that's what I use that for. And then clear gems. So in the centers of all the flowers, I have clear gems. So I have an assortment of clear gems that I can choose from. You can use all different kinds of clear gems. You can even go with colored ones if you want to. Tiny diamonds from Tailored Expressions would be really cute in all of those centers as well, but you'd have to use a few of them to fill it in, and that would be a bit time consuming, but I like details, so that would be fun to do. So some sort of gem to go in the middle there. A sanding block for your photos if you want to do that. Where's the other part of my page? I like to sand the edges of all of my pictures, so you can see there that the edge is white, and I like to add that detail. So that is a must for me. So we've got sanding blocks available for that. And then my alphabet set to complete my title, I used the Concord and Ninth Altogether alphabet, and I used the uppercase. Now we've used this before in the previous series. I forget, it was around this time of the year last year that we used this set. So a lot of you may have it already. But if you're looking for a great alphabet set, it's fabulous. So I have a little container here. This is one of the Spellbinders stacks. And when let's get the lid off here. When I cut them out, I put all the extras in here. And so when I need letters, I can just go searching. And you'll notice that a lot of mine are cut out in white. That's because I can take my ink and I can make them whatever color I want. So I really love them. It's such a great tool, and they come upper and lower case. So this is the uppercase version of that. So we've got those available as well. And that will allow you to really create whatever words you want over here. The top part of them is cut out of the same paper that the frames are cut out of. And then I stacked them up with the Nina cardstock to give them dimension. So what is Kim saying? Could you please show me close up the Gina K drop ones? Are they flat backed and a bit domed? All of my gems are all flat backed, and the drop ones, I don't know which ones those are. Let me look at my crystals here, the drop ones. I don't know if all of these are Gina K. I have a real mix of stuff in here, but everything is flat backed. If you're talking about the ones that I used on my layout, they are kind of like a bubble and it's clear, but they are flat backed and they do pop up. So there is dimension to them for sure. But that is what I used. Better close this or I'll dump it. Okay, and then the last thing that I used on here, and I have used these sets before, are the word strips here. They are sentiment strips from Spellbinders, and they are a better press product. So I love these. I absolutely love them. Word strips on pages for me are kind of almost, I don't know if it's a standard thing. I use them a lot, and I love the fact that I can make my own. So I'm going to quickly demo how these work for you when we get to this point, just because if you don't have a better press, you can't use this particular die. They can be foiled as well. I'm not going to demo that part, but you may want to consider a better press as an option, and I'll explain that a little bit more when I get to that part. But that's where I got these amazing word pieces, and I did use them on this part as well. So super fun. So they are a great addition, and you'll be able to use them over and over again on your layouts. And they really don't look repetitive, because when you add them in with your whole design, I just think, you know, it's just another embellishment that you're using. So just like I like to use a large title, just like I like to use these letters, those word strips can be repeated. And they are available in many themes, and we do try to keep them in stock. I think Shelby added all of them into our inventory. I did order these So we have more coming. So you may see a pre-order option for this as well, because I think the ones that we had in stock could sell out pretty quickly, and then we've got more coming. So you could pre-order them as well. So that is everything for add-ons. Now I did pull out a sampling of the cardstock that I used in, oh, that's not, I forgot to tell you about that. Where did I put my little bag? Oh yeah, right here. The little die cuts to do the February word are an add-on as well, because not everybody does the calendar part. So this is all die cut out for you, and it spells February. The other thing that is an add-on is this actual blank calendar page for the first page in the layout spread. We don't assume everyone's going to do this calendar part, and we don't want to put this in the bundle and have it thrown out. So this is an add-on. You can purchase those. Kim's saying, does the Henry stamp have a family thing? I don't know, Kim. You'll have to take a look. If we don't have them on our site, then you can visit Lawn Fawn's website and you can see all of them. If you just type in build a sentiment, it'll show you all the options. And we're happy to bring in anything that we don't have in stock. They're fabulous. I love them. I have them all. Because I just think it's so great that you can mix and match the words and they line up perfectly, and you can create whatever sentiment you want. So you can really personalize your sentiments, which is kind of fun. But anyways, I did pull out the colors that we use because these are available in 12 by 12 sheets. I know some people like to mat their photos or tie in other elements on their page using cardstock. So if you want to get the colors on their own, we have these up in the add-on section that you can purchase. So they're all Color Vibe cardstock, and they are solid on one side, and then they have this dot on the other. So if any of you remember the Bo Bunny dot paper, it's very similar to that. So this is a white core cardstock, so the color does not run all the way through. What does that mean? It means if you tear it, there's a white center to it, which can be really cool because just like I sand my photos right here, you can sand this paper and the white core will start to come through. So really great options for embossing techniques, or if you just want to sand the edge of your cardstock to give it an edge, a white edge, which could be like a border, you have that option too. So we use Sky, which is a light blue. We used Mint, which is a light green. We used Buttercup, which is a light yellow. And then Apricot, which is the orange, and then Peony, which is the pink. And those all coordinate nicely with the rainbow blend, the papers that we gave you in the bundle, and of course that die cut title as well. So if you want to pick up any of those cardstock colors, you can do that. Type the word Henry in our search bar and they all come up. Thank you, Shelby. Okay, so now there are no cutting measurements to go over because all the cutting I did was just for photos. The only thing that you're going to need to cut is your white sheet of paper because you want to have that stripe show on both sides. And so about 1/4 of an inch on each side shows. So you're going to cut this white paper. It's still going to remain 12 inches from top to bottom, but from side to side, it's going to be 11.5 inches. And that will allow you to center that on the striped paper and give you a border on each side of the stripe. That's why I said before, you could cut like 2 1-inch strips and you could attach it to the back of this and just let 1/4 inch show. And then you would have extra striped paper to use for something else. I didn't do that because I'm not using the striped paper for anything else right now. So I just went ahead and stuck this piece on there. Now, what I would do if it was me is I would create my white background before I trim it down to put on the striped paper. Now, the reason is you may want to take a little more, you might want to take your full 1/2 inch off of this side or off of this side, depending on where this ends up on your white sheet. So it allows you to effectively shift this part one way or the other without actually moving it. You're just going to trim the edge in. So that kind of gives you flexibility. So what I would do is go ahead and create this part of your layout first. I'm talking about the background, not all this. And then once you get that done, then you can trim your paper down. So when we are placing our stencils for this, we're going to, in our heads, kind of remember that we're going to be trimming 1/4 of an inch or so off of this white when we're finished. But essentially, you could trim the full 1/2 inch off over here and then it would still work. So you have options where that is concerned. And that's why I say do your stenciling first and then you can decide how you want to do that. So that is the only cutting that you really have to do as far as trimming your papers and things down. Let's talk about the frames next. So I'm going to pull out the frames. I'll pull out the set that we have, the feature frames. So these are very handy little die cuts to have. So if you are also a card maker, you can do tons of things with these. But if you go on Pinterest and start searching on scrapbook layouts using frames, you're going to come up with all kinds of ideas on how to use the frames. You may not love the layout that they're used on, but just focus in on how those frames are used and different ways to use them. But you can make great grid layouts with frames because they're all about the same size. And then you could like line them up and do all kinds of fun things with them. I'm just going to throw this out there right now. I forgot to mention it in January. I have no idea what my title page is going to look like for 2025 when I do the title page at the end of the year. But I will say that it would be nice if everyone would hold on to their extra bits from their kits each month. Because I may pull in bits and pieces of things from the kits to make up the title page. I don't know this for sure. I don't want you to say, you said, because I might change my mind. Because a lot of things are going to happen between now and the end of the year. And you just never know what new product might come out or what great idea I might come up with. But I thought when I was making the title page this year, that it would have been cool if everyone had the bits and pieces from their layouts that we could have pulled in and used. But because I couldn't rely on that fact, I didn't go ahead with that concept. So it is something I have kind of in the back of my head. And this appeals to me a lot because you could set up 12 frames on a page and create something with a title page in mind using these. So I'm not saying go ahead and buy these now because I'm going to use them on the title page. I don't know that. But I'm just putting it out there that it could be a thing. There are also going to be leftover bits and pieces from this layout in your ephemera pack that we could bring in on a title page too. So just keep a little file going of all your leftover bits from all of the calendar months this year. And then if we end up not doing anything with them, you can decide what to do with them at that point, whether they get thrown out or whether they get filed away in your other scrapbooking stuff, like whatever. But I just want that option to be available. Now, I know that might exclude people that don't do every month with us, but they'll have to improvise and use something else if that's the route that we go. So it's just something that's floating around in my brain. And like I said, it may or may not happen. But these frames are a lot of fun to work with. And as you can see, they have a lot of potential to create beautiful scenes. And you don't have to do a whole page with them. You can just use them periodically on layouts and to add in extra photos. You can use them on the calendar portion of your layouts to add extra details and all kinds of fun things. And in just general scrapbooking and card making as well. I think they're a really useful product. So these are the ones that we have in stock. And then these are the fancy frames that are similar. So this one is similar to that one. This one is more of a arch. And this one is like a nice oval. Some different details on these ones. Like I said, I used all of them because I had them on my desk and they were new and I was playing with them and it's just the way it worked out. But you can certainly get away with one set if that's what you want to do. If you love the variety and you want to have options, then definitely keep your eyes out for that fancy featured frame option because as soon as they become available for us, I actually haven't checked in the last day or so, but I'm pretty sure I'm on the notify list for them and then they'll email me when they become available. So it's a great little die set to use. So when I use these, what I did was I used the half sheets of paper that we provided in the bundle for you, and I cut my frames out of those. Now, one of them is the grid paper, which is here, and I just avoided the numbers when I did my die cutting, but I didn't pay much attention to how the grid looks and where, like whether I'm getting like this space on it or whatever, because you can see that, I'll just show you up close. This frame here has lines together and then there's like a big gap here. I don't think it makes any difference. You can pick and choose how you want to position your dies on your paper and what parts of the paper you want to use. I will say that I did cut 4 frames out of the pink and 4 frames out of the blue. What did I do with the blue? Oh, right here. Okay, and then just watch the direction of your pattern. So I put the dies on my frames this way. As long as you're consistent, I don't think it matters one way or the other, but that way my patterns are kind of going vertically. And also, you do want to leave some room for your live and love letters if that's what you're doing. Now, I will say when you do the frames, you do have these centers that pop out that you can also use for your letters. So you have lots and lots of paper if you want to make lots and lots of frames. The top part, if you do want to create some dimension with them, the top part is the only part you need to have the pattern paper for. Then I took my 8.5 by 11 Nina paper and I cut the frames out 2 more times and I stacked them like I do with the letters, like you stack them together and glue them. And that creates like almost like a thicker, it makes it thicker and more dimensional. So when you lay it on your page, it kind of looks popped up already. And then even though the frames are being overlapped, it kind of pops them up again. So it's a really cool effect close up. And when you look at it in person, it gives it lots of dimension and lots of texture, which is what I wanted. But it doesn't create too much bulk. It's just nice. And it saves you using all kinds of foam pop dots and things like that. So when you are sticking the frames down, keep in mind that, you know, things are going to be overlapping. So just put little bits of glue on at first. I use liquid glue when I stick it all down. And then you can go back in and tuck some glue in underneath and make sure everything is secured. But the frames are a lot of fun to play with. And that's how I created this sort of look. So again, if you only purchase one set of dies, the style of frame that you're using is going to be slightly different than what I used, but you can just cut them out of the same colors and it's really not going to matter what frame you use. So you can see up here, I'll just run through what I've used. There is a frame here, it's in blue, and I think I used this one. And I actually turned it on its side. So play around with the orientation of your frames as well. They don't all have to go vertically on your page. You can tip them on their side. So I think I have that one going there. And then this one is the Polaroid right in the center. And in the background here, we've got this scalloped one. And so that's kind of a cluster right there. And then over here, we pulled in this one here with the arch. And this one is this frame here. And then another Polaroid. So that kind of creates another little cluster. And then we've got this one here. And this one is this frame, but again, I turned it sideways. So it's going this way. And then you've got another arch over here. So definitely mix and match, play around. I'm going to pull over some extra frames that I have done here. This is my tray of scraps. But you can see that I have added that extra cardstock on the back, and it's just created some dimension and makes the frames just a little bit thicker and a lot sturdier too. So really nice for layering. So look at that. Just that little cluster of frames together make a really nice focal point for anything, anywhere. Whether you're scrapbooking, card making, it doesn't make any difference. So, and then I didn't put photos in all of the frames. Now you have the option of choosing to use more photos on this page if you want to. I decided this page I was just going to focus on some photos that Amanda took of Olivia, our granddaughter. She just looks so sweet in these. And I just thought I'm going to put just 3 photos on there. But again, there is places where I could have added more pictures. So you can play around with how you want to do that. I chose to use embellishments in some of the windows and overlap some of those areas, but you can totally play around with how you want to do that. But the frames lend themselves to lots of options because you don't have to put photos in them. if you're thinking more of card making and how you can make things work with that, you can put sentiments in the middle of them. You can put floral clusters on the edges of them. You can put embellishments or critters or anything that you want. And those can all be transferred over onto scrapbook layouts as well. So you can bring all of those critters and fun things. So you can use these frames, like let's say on a birthday page, and you can have like little critters or balloons or something like that, you know, going with all the frames. There's just a billion possibilities with them. So that is the frames, and that's kind of how I use them. And again, don't forget about switching the orientation of them. They don't, just because they look like they go like this doesn't mean you can't make them go like this. So try to think outside the box and have fun with them, because they are a ton of fun to play with. So that is the frames. I really enjoyed bringing them onto a layout, and you might see them pop up from time to time in other layouts as we go down the road. Nope, Nicole, the kit is not up online until the live is finished. We make you hold off until I'm done, so you pay attention to what I'm saying. I want all the attention to be on me right now. So that's the frames, and that's what you use these two sheets of paper for. So easy peasy, right? Okay, so the ephemera has lots and lots of options in it. And I'm going to just point out something. So, okay, mine is already open. These are just leftovers, but you'll get the idea. So this is one style of the ephemera that's in there. And I'm just going to pull this out and show you. So we've got these large floral clusters. And then this is the other form of artwork that is in the group. Now, when you first glance at it, you might think, well, what's the difference? These are more one style of artwork, and these are another. See how they have these larger, I don't know, I'll call them like carnation type looking flowers. I did not use any of those on my layout. I used more of like the daisy type of look. And I'll pull this over here so you can see. So when you sort your ephemera out, you'll definitely see the difference in the floral clusters. One is more like a daisy look, and the other one has this large carnation type look. That didn't appeal to me as much as the daisy look did, but you can mix and match however you like. And then there's also these large hearts. I used them all. These large hearts, which I just loved. And then also these black and white hearts. And then there's also hearts that have like a colored piece and a black and white piece as well. So lots and lots of things to choose from. And that's how we make the little clusters as we go through our layout. And I'll just quickly point out each cluster for you so that when you're doing your layout, you can kind of see what we used. So this one up here in the top left corner, there is a larger cluster with the 3 flowers below it. And then I did layer a smaller red one on top and just used a pop dot there. And then that's layered over one of the teal hearts. Down here, we've got just a red heart and a black and white one, and they're joined. That's just one piece. Over here, you have just a large cluster that has the pink, red, and blue flower. Another one here. This one's just a little smaller, but it's got all 3 colors there. And then this one is like all of these daisies here are connected. And then I just tucked one of the tall daisies in behind. And then over here, we've got a red heart. Oh, sorry. This is one has the pink heart in behind. And then we've got the red heart. And some of the hearts have these like lines around them. And then some of them have the dots. So this one has the lines and these 2 have the dots. And then here we've got 2 single flowers. The pink one is popped up and then this one is overlapped on top of that. So it kind of makes it look like a cluster. And then over here, we just have the red flower. So that's kind of how I laid those out. And then over here on this page, this is a full cluster and they're smaller flowers. So I just kind of put that there. And again, depending on how you do your photos on this page, this may change for you. Excuse me, I have to drink. So this may change the placement for you. But as the main element on this page, I used a large teal and large pink heart in the back, and then just a slightly smaller orange one in the front. And then I coordinated the flowers over top. I actually saw this design done. I don't know whether it was in a small mini book or on a card or something, but I think I stumbled across it when I was looking for ideas, and I thought, oh, I'm going to make that into an element on our page. And then in behind, I did that stencil work again with our stencil, which I will be demoing. So that's how I, oh, and then we've got a few hearts. I liked putting the black and white hearts around the colored part here. And then we have another heart cluster in the bottom corner. Excuse me. So much talking. So that is kind of how I use the ephemera on the page. And then I guess we should talk about our background, because that kind of is a big part of this layout. So that is creating this part here. So I'm going to use Amanda's kit, and I'm going to demo how I made that part of the layout. So mine is still a full 12 by 12 sheet, and I'm going to leave it that way until I am finished with the background part, just because then I can decide where I want to chop off that 1/2 inch of paper. So we're going to pull out the stencil, which is here, and our inks, which are right in front of me here. I'm just going to lay them out kind of in order over here. So we've got blue and green and yellow and peach and pink, just so I make sure I get them in the right order. All right, so basically what I'm going to do is start about 1 inch down from the top of my layout. Now, this is a bit of a guessing game as you go through it. I was scared at first because I thought, oh my God, how do I know where to start and how much room to take up for each color so that it's kind of centered from top to bottom? Well, I've kind of already done it, so I will kind of guide you through it. But again, you want to leave about 1 inch at the top, and you want to end up with about 1 inch at the bottom. It doesn't have to be exact, but pretty close. And it does kind of work out. Now, of all of these swatches here, the only one I'm using is this top one for this demonstration. It might look like I've used all of them to make that pattern going down like this, but I only used this top one, and we're going to kind of layer it from side to side and from top to bottom. So in this demonstration, in this project, we're only going to use one of the strips. But before we get going, I want to just quickly demo how you can use this stencil to create a focal point. I need my mat right here. I didn't use this mat. I used this mat a lot yesterday, so I haven't cleaned it, so I'm hoping it's sticky enough. But I'm going to just quickly show you how you can use this to create a focal point, and even as a different option moving forward with other layouts and things as well, because it's a pretty cool concept, and I loved it from the minute I saw it used. I was like, oh my gosh, I need that. So I'm going to use my my blending brush option here, and we are going to start with this saltwater taffy. I'm not going to do the whole panel. I'm just going to quickly demo how you can work with this. Yes, if you have to go or you have other things that need your attention, feel free to zoom in and out of this demo. Well, my stencil's not sticking, which is what I figured would happen. Okay, let me just put a magnet on there. That will solve the problem. Okay, so we're just going to continue with our ink blending here. And this ink palette that I did choose is designed to be a lighter blend, not deep, dark colors. So you can switch up your color blends however you want for other projects. But anyway, so there's one swatch. Then we're going to move on to the next design. And we're going to have them overlap. And if you choose colors that blend and overlap and create new colors easily, and that's something you're going to have to kind of play and experiment with, then you can get some beautiful new colors where the overlap is. But I'm just going to quickly fill in this spot, and you'll kind of quickly see where I'm going with this. Oh yes, the magnets. They are such a great tool, especially if you have some kind of magnetic mat. Now my glass mat is magnetic. We are bringing in a whole line of magnetic products glass boards and different sizes and all kinds of fun things. So stay tuned for that. So you can see what's happening here. Now I'm going to come in with this one. And again, I'm making sure that I overlap each time I line up the stencil. So this is how this stencil is intended to be used. But you know, you can do other things, which is what we're going to do when we do the layout. But just to show you how the stencil is supposed to work if you use all the different sections. So just a quick blend. I'm not taking the time to do really nice blends. I just want to kind of give you the idea. So see what's happening? Oh, it's so fun. So this might be my last one because I'm going to run out of room. But we'll see. So that's the yellow. Now we'll bring in the peach. And when you have a nice rainbow blend, you don't have to use all the colors in the rainbow either. You can eliminate some. I'm not using the purple in my layout. But this is such a fun stencil. And you can use this little backdrop as a focal point on a card. You can use it as a backdrop behind a photo, on a layout, or whatever. Oops, I overdid. But you can kind of see what this looks like when you create all of the strips together. You just sort of blend them over top of each other, and you can just go on forever. So you can make borders on pages. You can do all kinds of fun things. So it is a really, really cool concept. It doesn't look like much when you're looking at it, but you're like, ooh, this could be fun. So I love the uses that you can get out of the stencil. So back to our layout. I'm going to put the lid on my ink here, pull on my paper, and I'm going to show you. Okay, have I lost a piece of paper? Oh, here we go. I covered it up with the layout. Okay, so we are going to do the stenciling on our actual page. So for my layout, I kept it over to the left side. And again, I started about an inch or so from the top of the page. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of place that stencil there. Okay, and then you just want to make sure your stencil's straight. So kind of look at the side of your paper as well. I'm also looking at my positioning here. I think I'm going to be okay if I trim a 1/4 inch off, but even if I'm not, maybe I'm going to line this up so that I just trim it all off of over here. So I think that orientation is good. And again, making sure that you have about the same amount of space from the edge of your stencil up here and down here. It's important, and also kind of straight across the top. Okay, so that looks like good orientation to me. So I'm going to just use my magnets here to hold that in place. And again, I'm focusing only on this. Now, if you feel like you are a wild blender and you want to make sure you cover that piece up, what I did is I just grabbed a piece of scrap paper. I have these strips of paper that I use for doodling and making notes on. I'm going to tuck that underneath here and block off that bottom piece there, just so I don't blend where I don't want to. So that makes that really easy. Okay, so now we're going to come in with our first color, which is the blue, saltwater taffy. And the top, so, okay, let me point this out. The top blend is meant to be like a medium blend. This one is the dark one, and the bottom one is the very light one. So I'm going to come in with my blending brush, and I'm going to do a medium blend. Okay, so just not too crazy. Come in with a light hand first and just start that blend. And I'm going to keep my blending kind of over to this side. I'm not going to go right to the edge of the stencil over here because I don't want to get a harsh line. I'm okay with the harsh line on this side, but I don't want a harsh line down towards here, because what I'm going to do is shift the stencil. Okay, so I've kind of gone that far, and then I'm just simply going to shift the stencil over to carry on my blend. Okay, so I'm kind of making sure that my stencil's straight across the top, making sure that area is blocked off. So this is going to take a little bit. And again, I'm trying not to go right up against this edge here with my blending brush, because again, that's going to give you a line, and you don't really want, you want to avoid the line if you can. At the end over here now, we can have a line. But I kind of want that area right there not to have a line. So while you're creating this, really enjoy the process of blending and creating this background yourself. So see how now we have a longer line. Now this piece right here, it tends to naturally want to slant down a little bit. So just be mindful of that as you are placing your stencil pieces. Now the next one, we want to overlap the top strip, okay? And again, make sure that you are straight down the side, or pretty straight. If you find your area is kind of going on that downward slant, then just bring this side up a little bit. But for the first one, I'm going to go here. Now, what I want to do this time is come in with my pouncer, because I want a much darker blend. I want to have a darker look to it. So that's when I'm going to bring in my pouncer. Excuse me. Okay, and we are going to pounce the ink on versus blend. So immediately I'm going to get a darker blend right off the hop. And again, be mindful that you don't want to come right to the edge here, because I don't want that line. Okay, so now we're going to pounce this on, and then we're going to shift our stencil over. And I don't want to have that downward slant, so I'm going to make sure I kind of tip that up just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to continue to pounce, blending in that area where I left off. I might have got too close to the edge of that stencil. We'll see. We can blend it out if we have to. And coming all the way to the end. But you can see with a pouncer how much darker you can get your ink blend much quicker. So that is important. Now you can use a regular blending brush and just blend and blend and blend until you get that deep color. But you can see now that we have two colors. And then we're going in with the third one. And this one is going to be our lightest blend. Okay, so again, just placing my stencil. Going back to my blending brush. Again, light hand. And as the ink dries, it's going to lighten up. So my dark blend might look really dark right now, but it will definitely lighten as we go along and it dries. Okay, and then we're just going to shift that stencil over. Like so. So again, if you want to pull this over further, you can totally do that. It's not part of the design that I created, but like you can make this a full line, a whole background, like whatever you want to do. But then when you're finished, that is kind of the look that you're going for. So you've got kind of your medium blend, your dark blend, and your light blend. Now, measure-wise, like if I look at this layout, I'm just going to pull out a ruler here, just to help you kind of guide yourself. Now there is some overlap here, but my first section is about 2.5 inches on this layout. Let's see how we did here. And look at that. I'm just under 2.5 inches on this, so I can stretch it out a little bit more when I do my next blend. But that is blend number 1. So then you're just going to move on to your next color, which happens to be the green. And you're going to end up with your next blend. Now I'm going to do the whole piece for you live. I have to sort of create it for Amanda anyway, so I'm just going to go through the process. So when you are watching this on replay, you can just scoot to the end, or just pause it and do all the blending and then skip over this whole part again. But I'm just going to go ahead and work my way through it, because I do love to stencil, but I don't know what we're going to talk about the whole time that I'm doing it. So do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Do you have any things you want to share about your weekend coming up? This is the time we can chat while I go ahead and blend away here. You can be baking muffins while I'm doing this, or cleaning the washroom, or whatever it is that you need to be doing if you're just watching. But I do want to get to the end because we're going to do some splattering on this with our ink colors. And then we're also going to add the black splatter as well. So it's a bit of a little bit of a process to create the background. So again, I didn't go all the way to the edge of that stencil. I'm just going to pull this over a little bit. There we go. And again, keep in mind that you're not coming all the way over to the edge when you blend because you don't want to have that harsh line. Harsh lines on the beginning and the end are fine. Not harsh lines, but a beginning and an end are fine. But you don't want to have that right in the middle of your strip. That's a no-no. Yep, so Mary's baking coffee cake muffins. Wow, that sounds really good. Okay, so I'm thinking, how far over did I go? You want to make sure you come over far enough and that you don't like put all this stuff on there and like make that whole background disappear. So you want to make sure you're coming over far enough. I want to make sure that I'm coming over far enough. So yeah, I need to come over just a little bit further. Okay, so we're going to fix that. Because you want to make sure that you're getting enough transition across your page. Oops, we got to go to Pouncer now. So now we're going to come in with our green Pouncer. Oh, and I wanted to point that out. So inside these little containers, there's a little like bump in the bottom, and sometimes that makes a mark on your Pouncer. And then when you pounce, you get the little circle on your paper. Just turn your Pouncer on its side, and you can cover that little dot up. It's not a big deal. As your Pouncer is out of the container for a bit, that will like fill in. And then as you dab your ink on, it will go away as well. Because I've noticed that happens to me. It's just how they're stored. But that little dot will go away. And I'm going to slide my stencil over because again, I don't want to go too close to that edge. And I also don't want to bring the stencil over too far that the edge of this is here and then I'm having to get too close when I do my pouncing because you don't want to have that harsh line. Fill in that little dot. And again, it might look a little blotchy when you first put it on because the ink is dark and it's wet. So that will dry as you go. I'm just going to see if I can blend that out just a little bit more on the top. I'm going rogue here. And I already have a line there, so I'm going to have to blend a little bit to kind of get rid of that. And I think I'm going to use the edge of my mat here. There we go. Just want to extend that a little bit. And plus, when you layer on the elements that you're working with, you'll cover that up anyways. But see how I'm just bringing that out just a little bit? I'm not going to worry about the blue part right now. I can always go back and do that. But I'm just going to bring that over just a touch more. And then we have one more blend to do with the green. And that is to get it with our light blend. Okay, so going with the light hand first. Okay, and then I'm going to pull that over just a little bit more. And then just a little bit more, just to give it a little bit more length. So it's very easy to line it up. And they just have to keep in your head that you don't want to go close to the edges at all until you get to the beginning, like when you do the beginning and the end. And then you'll be safe. And you can just keep moving it over. About how wide am I making it? Well, that's about, where'd my ruler go? So over here, it's about 5.5 or so inches. Yeah, so I'm about 5.5 inches. That's about how wide you want to go. I needed to go a little bit further on that blue, but I can extend that out at the end. It's not a problem. So there we've got 2 colors done. So now we're going to move on to our yellow blend. Okay, and again, if you get ink on here that you need to clean off, these are pretty light colors, but you don't want that to transfer. I'm not going to really use alcohol or anything to wipe it off. I'm just going to take a cloth and just wipe off any ink residue that's on there because I don't want to pull that on and make a new color. Okay, so now we're going to make sure you're overlapping the colors enough that you're not going to run out of room when you get to the bottom. If you do, like if you really feel like you're nervous about your spacing and so on, just practice on a scrap piece of paper. Your blends don't have to be great, and you can just kind of work on your spacing until you're comfortable with it, and then you can come in and do your real page. Sometimes just practicing takes the intimidation out of it. I mean, I've got lots of white cardstock sitting here, so I'm not worried if I was have to start again. I'm not going to start again with you guys, but if I had to, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I could just pull out another piece of paper. But if you don't want to waste the paper or whatever, just practice on a scrap and just get a feel for how it feels when you're overlapping them and what your spacing should be like. And then you should be good to go. So each block of color should be around 2.5 inches or so, and then about 5.5 inches wide. And it doesn't have to be like a complete straight line. It can stagger in and out a little bit. And you'll notice too that, you know, I have things on the outer edges. So if you come up a little bit short in here, it's not going to matter. Like it's very forgiving. But I do love this color palette. It's very beautiful. And it's just nice and soft, but still rainbow-like. So if you like a rainbow doesn't have to be always deep, dark colors. It can be just soft. And I mean, maybe you, in the future, like these are beautiful baby colors, like for a card or, you know, when you want to do that little boy look. Can be used for lots of things. Where's my other magnet? Right here. All these things sitting up here, I can't even see. Okay, so now we're going to go in with our yellow pencil for our deeper color. So does anybody have any big plans for their weekend? Do we have any crafting, family get-togethers? Amanda and I were just planning this morning. Her kids are on March break next week, and she said, does Nana have any time to do fun things next week? And I'm like, oh boy. But, you know, I can't work all the time, and you have to make time sometimes for other things. So we are going to go to the St. Jacob's Theater, and they have a magician juggler thing going on for the kids. So we've got tickets for that on Monday, and we're going to go out for lunch afterwards and make kind of a half day of it. So that's what I have on the horizon for next week. What about you guys? Anything fun? Don't be shy. We have a little time to fill here, so I need help. So there's our yellow in the dark, and now we're just going to go in with our light. It's mine. Oh yes, I forgot that you guys share a birthday. Well, that's exciting. So, and you've got a celebration planned. Okay, there we go. Yeah, they grow fast. She's going to be 3 already. Yeah, they grow real fast. Owen is turning 9 this summer, which I can't even believe. I've been working with him on his spelling for school. He calls me every night on FaceTime, and we do spelling dictation. so we do that. Tammy's taking her granddaughters out on Tuesday, knitting and card making. That's fun. Yeah, grandkids are the best. They're so fun to be around. I mean, I always knew I wanted grandkids, but I had no idea it would be this much fun. And I love them when they're young, but, well, they still are young, but like now that they're sort of developing their own personalities and the things they say, my gosh. Okay, so there we've got our yellow done. It's starting to come together. And now we've just got our peach color and our pink color. So again, I'm just going to take that cloth and just wipe off that yellow ink. And then move my stuff out of the way here, put my lid back on. So we got our peach ink next. Okay, so peach. Well, it does look like we're going to get some nice weather for next week, so that will be nice because, you can do fun things outside. Okay, so now we're going in with peach. We're almost there, guys. I see you're all hanging in, which is good. It's a bit of a process, but it's so worth it. And I know this part's a little bit boring to watch, but I really want you to be able to understand how it all kind of comes together. It's amazing what you can do with some ink, a stencil, and some white cardstock. I do like to have pattern paper to work with, but I find I'm using less and less of it. Like you just need little bits of it. That's why I like the 6x8 pads and the 6x6 pads, because you can use like just a small piece of paper gets you a lot of mileage. Like this time we're using our pattern paper just to make those frames. And also just for those strips down the side, but the rest is just a white sheet of paper and some ink, and you can make your own designs. It's a lot of fun to do. That's why I say you can't have too many stencils. It's good to have a variety because you just never know. And if you really wanted to take this to another level, once you get this done, you could take another stencil that has like a pattern on it and stencil over top of this to give it texture. Oh my gosh, there's so many things you can do. I've done that before too. It's kind of cool. Okay, so now we're going with our dark one. So now I'm going to use my orange brush to use my peach ink. Okay, and we're going to pounce hard at the beginning. So you can see how these colors are lightening up a little bit as they're drying, and they kind of blend together more. They do tend to look a little splotchy when you first put them on. That's okay. And again, remember not to get too close to that edge because you don't want to have that line that you're going to end up having to blend out. And then when you slide it over, I know you want to go right to the end to do it in one movement, but you're going to end up with a line. So just do it in sections. Just take your time. Okay, and then one last little slide. And remember, just keep looking at your design, and if you feel like it's leaning down, just tip up this corner a little bit, and then it will look like it's going a little more straight. And now we're going to go right to the edge and finish off our one. So that's that one. And then one more little light blend here with the peachy color. And then we just have pink. And I think my spacing is like perfecto. Okay, so let's get that lid on here. Bring in our pink. Where's my pink brush? Okay, here we go. Okay, let's get my magnet in place here. Oops, I didn't wipe off my stencil. There we go. Okay. Last color. Whoa. Oops, not on the end. Slide that over a little bit. And then one more little slide. Okay, next is Pouncer. Oh, I got a little line there. That's okay. If I look at my my layout, I have a couple spots where I have little lines if you look for them, but when you just look at it, you don't even see them. Okay. Let's pull this down just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to come in with the Pouncer. I might need to re-ink this pad. Oh, there we go. Okay, and then slide that over. Oh, I did miss a row of peach. Darn it. Lynn, you should have yelled at me sooner. Oh, well. No big deal. Amanda's never going to know. I was wondering why I was coming up just a little short on this, but that's okay. No big deal. Ugh, I did miss a row of peach. That's okay. No big deal. By the time I get this last row in, and I'm stretching out my blend a little bit, I'm not overlapping them quite as much because I noticed I have a bigger space at the bottom, but that's why. But that's okay. Amanda will never know. She won't. Because she never watches the live long enough to see the whole thing. So she won't even know. Oh, watch, she'll jump on here. I can see it. I'm like, ah. Oh, you'll take the reject? I'm not doing this again. No, this is enough. I got other things I have to create. Seriously, it's not going to matter. And it's perfect spacing, really, because I'm stretching out the pink to be a bigger block. So it's all good. Okay, so there's my pink. 3 pinks, only 2 peaches. That's okay. See, it's perfect. I mean, you won't know. Yeah, but if you didn't say it, everyone else was going to be thinking it. And I would just be living in bliss over here thinking, oh, it looks so perfect. Okay, so that is how that looks. I'm going to see if I can just quickly fix that top piece because we're going to do our ink splattering now. I just want to extend the blue just a touch. Oh, not that far. And I'm going to, I better make sure I put my scrap in here because otherwise I'll end up with a line and she'll be like, Mom, that looks terrible. Okay, so let's just quickly fix this top piece. Let's see if I can blend that out. I need magnets. I pretend like I can go rogue, but I really can't. Okay, here we go. So let's blend this. Okay, there's that part. Just gonna blend over here a little bit more. Okay, and then we'll pull this down and pull this out a little bit. So that's my pouncer. And again, my overlaps might look a little dark right now. This section has already dried. So as this dries, it will blend in a bit more. So I'm not stressed. Amanda won't be stressed. So you shouldn't stress either. It should be just fine. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and then I might have to go over just a touch with my green. But I didn't notice that this was not blending out far enough until we got the green done. Oh, I'm not going to have to go over it with my green. Perfect. Okay, there we go. So now we've extended that blue part at the top just to pull it out a bit. And again, that will even out just a little bit once things dry, but that looks good. So now we're kind of good. You can kind of see that it kind of shortens up a little bit at the bottom, but it's fine. It's all fine because look, here, I'm going to have hearts here on the end, so you'll never know that that is a thing. Okay, so the next step is to actually do some splattering with your ink colors. And I'll pull my layout up. You can kind of see the splattering that takes place as we go down. And you're going to use all of your ink colors to do it. And you're just going to, and this is where I wish I had ink cubes for these sizes, because it's a little harder to do when you are using larger pads. So I'm just going to have a little disperse sprayer. My Spellbinder sprayer is upstairs in my bedroom because I use it to spray my hair. So I have to use this one right now. And then I'm going to grab that brush that I'm splattering with. This is a smaller one. Now that's one I might use for my black ink. I think I'm going to go with a bigger brush. So this is the number 4 brush for the larger, like the colored splatters. And we're going to start with blue because blue's our top color. And you're just going to like smoosh some ink onto your glass surface or your whatever your slick surface is that you're using. And we're just going to pick up some of that, spray some water on it, pick it up, and we're just going to splatter over that blue area. Now it's going to dry a little lighter than what you see, but I'm going to hold this up so you can see what you're doing. So see how you've got that splattering going on? And it's okay if it splatters a little bit onto the green or the yellow or whatever. It's not a big deal. Can you even see that? Huh. Okay, well, I can see it well. I don't know. And then just clean your brush off. I'm just going to put a little bit of water down here. Just clean your brush off, wipe it on your cloth, and then you're just going to come in with your next color. Okay, so this time I'm going to use the green. Again, just sort of smoosh some color down there. Give it a spritz or two of water. Pick it up. And just tap it over that green area. Can you see that? Because I can see that. See? So it just kind of dries in there. And then just clean off your brush and wipe this up. And then go in with the next color. So that would be yellow. And this just adds just a little bit of texture and dimension and kind of come off of your design a little bit. So have the splatter go out onto the white so that it looks nice out there too. Okay. And then we're going to come in with the peach. I love this part. I just have a narrow peach section to do. because I only did 2 rows of peach, but that's okay. And then we have pink. And then this part of the splatter is done. Then the last part is the black. Just slide this up a little bit here so I can get this bottom part. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take some water here and really clean off that brush. I mean, I don't have a lot of ink in it or anything, but just to give that cleaned off. Okay, so now we've got that. Now, when I splatter, it goes everywhere. I generally don't splatter in my craft room at all. I tend to take it outside to the garage. I do have a box I splatter in, but it still goes everywhere. Let me just grab my box. I feel like I need a splatter room. It kind of just goes everywhere. Okay, so here is the splatter box. Now what I'm going to do, I have another box just sitting here. I'm going to put it in front of this, like so, just so I can try to contain it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that ink, and I have a little eyedropper, because you need so little of this ink to splatter, and I don't want to waste it. But I have this little eyedropper, and I'm going to just put a drop on my my craft mat here, or my glass mat. So always make sure you give this a good shake. This is not a pizza box. This is the top of, we got it from our printer. It's like the top of a box. It's huge. But I feel like I need something like way up high here. I'm going to get my husband to construct some sides to this because it really does go everywhere. I try not to, but it splatters. So 2 drops, that's probably more than enough of this ink. Now you really don't want to water this down very much at all if you can avoid it, because what'll happen is your splatters just get diluted. So you're basically going to cover the tip of your brush, and you're going to just tap and get splatters. Oh, Amanda, I'm doing a really good job. My splatters are a bit bigger than I'd like them to be. And you're just going to splatter until you're happy. Splattering is a kind of thing that is a little bit wild. You just never quite know exactly where those splatters are going to go. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all this now. I'm going to hold this up so you can see. Okay, so there is the splattering in the black. It looks amazing. So it's just a nice speckled effect. And it does come out a little bit over here, but that's okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so what I have to do right now is just get these brushes into, this brush and thing into a glass of water. I'll be 1 second. 1 second. We're almost done. I just have to demo the better press part. Sorry, because if I let that ink dry on there, I'm never going to get it off. And that's not good. Oh, I need a paper towel because I don't want to use my rag. Okay, coming. And of course, as I'm running through my room and the kitchen, I'm dodging. Oh, shoot. Did you see what I just did? Oh, seriously. So this ink can be messy, just so you know. Okay, well now my magnets have black splatter on them. Maybe I can get that off later. That's okay. All right. So. Oh, Shelby's going to go shopping for droppers. Okay, well I have a source for those. Okay, so there is my splatter. Now I got splatter over here too. It's okay. It's okay. So that's the basic concept of your background. Now you're going to do a similar thing over here, but you're not going to be extending the stencil. You're just going to do it in that little section. Well, you can do whatever you want, but that's what I did. I just did it in that little section and then splattered and then added those hearts and things on top. So that's the background. Now, the only thing I want to demo still is the Better Press sentiments here. So this is the Better Press plate. So if you have a Better Press, you already know how cool this is. This is the stamp that we're going to use. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not getting the Better Press because it's just another thing to buy. But to stamp your stamps, you bought a Misty, right? You didn't think twice about that. And this is basically the Misty for these Better Press plates. And what it does is it opens up the doors for you to have the option to use all Better Press plates as a stamp, which is really cool. So I have a sheet of acetate on my Better Press just to protect this, because I can clean this off really easily. So that's all that rainbow thing is. Basically, all you do is take your plate and you put it on the platform. Oops, this is upside down. You put it on the platform, and there is a grid on here for an A2 size card. So it helps you center if you're stamping directly onto something. I'm just going to be stamping onto a piece of paper, so I don't really care if it's centered because I'm going to cut it out. But you put that there, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your cardstock, and I'm just using Nina 80-pound cardstock. You could use, if you want to get more dimension quicker, you could use the 110-pound because then that way you can, you already have a thicker paper to start with. And I'm going to tape that to this lid inside the A2 markings, because this is going to be the top part of my stamp. So this, think of this like if you're looking at your Misty, the door that you close, this is the door. Okay, but this time your stamp is on the bottom. So this hovers right above your plate. And when this goes through your Big Shot or your Spellbinders machine, it pushes this down onto the plate, and that's how you get your stamp. So that's essentially how it works. So we just have to add ink to this. I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair Nocturne Black ink. It's my favorite ink for sentiments. You can use whatever inks you want on these plates. You don't have to use Better Press inks or anything like that, but you just kind of want to make sure you get it inked up well, and you can do one pass. Okay, so we're just going to close this up, and I'm going to run it through my machine just off the screen here. And then when I come back, it's really just like having a stamped image, but rather than using a stamp, you're using a plate. And that plate can be used to foil as well, if you have a hot foil machine. So that is a great option to be able to do both. And also, you can use special papers, cotton papers, that really impress this stamped part into the paper and make it look very professional, like a Better Press look. So here is the sentiments all stamped out. And for sentiments, they're going to look very much like a regular stamp. But if you're using one of the detailed Better Press plates, the amount of detail that you get when you stamp is actually really crazy. It's like no stamp could ever provide. It's really kind of cool. So I'm just removing the tape that I had on here. And then we're going to put the die over top, and it's going to cut out all of the sentiments at once. So you're just going to take this, and I'm just going to make sure that that's dry, because that's a slow drying ink, so we don't want to. Okay, so this just goes over top, and you really want to take your time lining up this plate. And this is where you're going to see my head, and sometimes I pull it off screen, because if you don't line your plate up properly, when you cut it out, you're going to have some pieces that you can't use. And sometimes this takes a second or two. Okay, I think that looks really good. And I'm just going to tape it down so that it doesn't shift. And I'm going to run it through my die cut machine like I do any other die. Okay, so I'm just going to zip over there and do that. Okay, here we go. And what you get are these nice scripty sentiments that you can use on your layout as ephemera. And I love that. Okay, so here we go. They just pop right out. Of course they do. So this is the magical set. And the only one that I didn't use was the one that says autograph time, because what does that mean? Like if you're at Disney, you could use that. But the first one is Smiles Happen Here. Well, that's very generic. You can use that for a lot of things. Dreams Come True. I use that right here because my dream was to have a granddaughter, and I do. So she's wonderful. Whoops. And then Happiest Place Ever works really well because I'm in my happy place with my grandkids. So that is awesome. And then Maximum Cuteness. Well, that works for the photos I used for sure. And then Let the Fun Begin. I also have pictures of Liam's birthday on here too. So again, very generic, very useful sentiments. And I love how they look when they're cut out. And they just look so great on your pages. So here they are here. And again, I've taken some Nina 110 cardstock and I've cut out the die part of the set a couple of times, and I stacked those behind these just to give them some dimension. So that is how I did that. Okay, I think I have covered everything. I think. I know it's a bit of a longer video. The background takes a little while to put together, but it is so worth it. And then this is where you're going to do all your frames and all the fun things that are going to put your page together. So, now that I've got this done, I'm probably not going to trim a 1/4 inch off over here. I'm probably going to trim a 1/2 inch off here, and then it'll fit nicely on top of my my striped paper, and I'll have a 1/4 inch showing on each side. So that's it. Now my desk is a mess. And we made it through. I know it was a little bit of a longer video, and thanks for hanging in. The bundles will be up online now, and you can go shopping. And if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to comment here, or you can email us at the store. And then this video will get transferred over to our YouTube channel for you to find on the playlist there. Okay, so have a great day, and we will see you soon.